two men stumbled upon a nuclear bomb. The man simply tapped the outside of the bomb. He instantly realized they had struck it rich. The two of them hurried to pry the bomb open, trying to remove the nuclear core from inside. The moment they dropped it on the ground, it let out a massive bang. They had no idea it contained a nuclear reactor, or that it was about to put the entire town in grave danger. They quickly took it to a scrapyard and sold it. The scrapyard owner's apprentice was fascinated by the bomb, so he removed the reactor from inside. After finishing work, the man got ready to head home. He noticed the scrap they had collected earlier was glowing blue. He had never seen anything so beautiful, so he decided to take it home and show it to his wife. Using his own skills, he opened the valve on the device, then poured the powder onto the table. That night, the powder gave off a bright blue glow. It was the infamous cesium-137. The owner called his wife, along with relatives and close friends, to come take a look. Wanting to show off his generosity, he let each of his friends take some home. No one had ever seen anything like it before. Everyone gladly accepted the strange gift. One man even rubbed it on his wife's neck. When the lights were turned off, her neck glowed blue. But just a few days later, her neck began to ulcerate. Another person brought it home to show his daughter. He spread the powder across the entire table. The little girl knew nothing about radioactive material and only thought it was beautiful. Her father even spread the powder all over her body, not realizing it attacked living cells and could damage the structure of human DNA. His wife felt there was something disturbing about it, so she gathered it up and poured it down the drain. The radioactive material flowed directly into the sewer system. The little girl picked up food without washing her hands. 10 days later, the disaster began to unfold. The scrapyard owner was the first to show symptoms. His hair began falling out in large clumps, but he had no idea what was happening. His wife also started getting sick. She suffered from non-stop vomiting and severe diarrhea, something she had never experienced before. The owner realized the object he had brought home was missing. His wife said she had not seen it. She also blamed him for bringing it home, believing it was the cause of her illness. After her husband left the house, the woman opened the cabinet. She had secretly hidden the reactor inside. She believed there was something evil about it, so she decided to take it to the health department so professionals could handle it. Soon they boarded a bus, headed for the health department. They moved throughout the bus, constantly brushing against other passengers. The apprentice's radioactive hands touched nearly every surface on the bus. Without any protective equipment, they simply placed the reactor underneath a seat. When they arrived at the health department, they explained everything, saying that everyone who had touched it had ended up in the hospital. She said she had been suffering from dizziness and nausea every day. She explained that her husband had found it in a load of scrap metal, and that it looked like nothing more than a piece of metal. The health department staff immediately assumed she had food poisoning. No matter how much she tried to explain, the staff still refused to believe her. She no longer had the strength to argue. A sudden wave of dizziness came over her. The next second, she threw up. Before leaving, she asked the apprentice to leave the bag in a safe place, hoping the health department would take care of it. But no one there did anything with it. Meanwhile, hospitals were flooded with patients, and every one of them had the same symptoms: dizziness, nausea, vomiting, hair loss, and more. Many of them also suffered severe skin damage. Looking at all the patients lying in hospital beds, the doctor realized this was no ordinary illness. It looked exactly like radiation poisoning. He immediately called his neighbor, Marcio. Marcio was a nuclear physicist. The doctor described all of the patient's symptoms. Marcio was convinced it was radiation poisoning. If that diagnosis proved to be correct, then radioactive material had leaked somewhere in town, and the entire town could turn into a living hell. Marcio immediately grabbed his equipment and rushed to the hospital, but shortly after setting out, the radiation detector in his hand suddenly started going crazy. At first, Marcio thought the detector had malfunctioned, but the readings had already gone far beyond the warning level. There was no reason for radiation to suddenly appear in town. Marcio immediately turned around and returned to the institute to get another detector. After his co-workers inspected it, they found nothing wrong with the first one. To make absolutely sure, Marcio took 2 detectors with him and headed back to the hospital. Not long after leaving, he ran into heavy traffic. Both detectors started sounding the alarm. The readings climbed at an alarming rate, several times higher than before. He realized the radiation source was somewhere nearby. Marcio immediately ran toward the source, then discovered that the health department staff were about to throw the woven sack into the river. Marcio rushed over and stopped them, telling them the bag contained radioactive material. The 2 workers were terrified. If it ended up in the river, the entire town would become contaminated. The only option was to put it back where it had been found, then immediately evacuate the town. The detector could no longer measure the radiation level. Once everything was fully contaminated, the consequences would be catastrophic. The health department immediately evacuated everyone from the building. The most important thing now was finding out where the reactor had come from. The director immediately looked up the address the woman had left behind. It led them to a scrapyard. But the moment they reached the entrance, the radiation detector screamed non-stop. The radiation level was unbelievably high. Marcio immediately asked the owner where the reactor had come from. The owner thought they were police officers and immediately ordered them to leave. The director explained that the scrapyard had become the center of a radiation disaster, but the owner refused to believe it.